Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. National Council of State approves 27,000 naira as minimum wage for the country, as federal government promises to pay its workers 30,000 naira. Organised labour set to shift demand on 30,000 minimum wage to the National Assembly as Trade Union Congress vows to resist negotiation of the tripartite committee's recommendation. Code of Conduct Tribunal insists on proceeding with the trial of the CJN. Justice Walter Onoge says the restraining orders by the Federal High Court and National Industrial Court are not binding on it. And Zimbabwean Human Rights Commission accuses security forces of systematic torture. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news and updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. The chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal has insisted on going ahead with the trial of Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge. The tribunal says the restraining order issued by the National Industrial Court, the Federal High Court and an Abuja High Court is not binding on the tribunal. At the resumed trial in Abuja today, the defendant, Justice Onoge, was absent, while the prosecutor advanced reasons why the trial must go on despite the absence of Justice Onoge. But the defense counsel thinks otherwise.
Supporters and opponents of the trial of Justice Walter Onoye at the Code of Conduct Tribunal as policemen take strategic position to control the protesters. Inside the tribunal, there was an exchange of legal fireworks as the trial of the Chief Justice of Nigeria over allegations of non-declaration of assets resumed. The prosecutor fires the first salvo as he reminds the tribunal that the business of the day is the arraignment of Justice Walter Onoye. This is immediately challenged by the lead defense counsel, who informs the tribunal of 3 restraining orders from the National Industrial Court, the Federal High Court, and an Abuja High Court staying proceedings at the tribunal. The prosecutor countered the argument of the defense team as he argues that the tribunal is a unique court which cannot be bound by orders of another court of equal jurisdiction. He equally informs the tribunal of his application seeking an order directing Justice Onoye to step aside as the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of the National Judicial Council pending the determination of the suit. With the arguments over, the chairman delivers his ruling, insisting that the Federal High Court, National Industrial Court and FCT High Court are not superior to the tribunal. He therefore ordered the defense team to prepare to argue its motion challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal. Although the prosecutor was not available for comment, the defense team reacts to the ruling of the tribunal.
In the wisdom of the tribunal, or in the ruling of the tribunal, the tribunal said all those rulings constitute a nullity. So the second member said that the proper thing for them to do, relying on decisions of the Supreme Court or Court of Appeal on the Constitution, etc., held that ordinarily they ought to adjourn sine die in obedience, in compliance with those rulings. The third member held that she agreed in toto with the chairman of the tribunal.
The case has been adjourned to the 28th of January 2019 to enable counsel to the CJN, Mr. Wole Olanipekun, move his application challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal to try the CJN. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
Staying with legal matters, the Kaduna State High Court has adjourned the trial of the leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaki, and his wife, Zinat, to March the 25th. The case was adjourned by the presiding judge, Justice Gideon Kurada, to enable El-Zakzaky and his wife get proper medical attention following a submission made by their counsel, Femi Falana, about their poor health condition. El-Zakzaky, who is currently facing trial over allegations of culpable homicide, unlawful assembly and disruption of public peace, among other charges, was denied bail by the judge during the last sitting on November the 7th, 2018. However, at the resumed sitting on Tuesday, the trial could not go on due to the fresh prayers raised by El-Zakzaky's lead counsel, who asked the court to adjourn the matter to enable his clients attend to their deteriorating health condition. The prosecuting counsel did not oppose Mr. Falana's prayers. And in another legal matter, the Buhari campaign organization has instituted a 14 million naira defamation suit against the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, accusing him of defaming President Muhammadu Buhari and his family. In the suit lodged before a high court of the Federal Capital Territory, President Muhammadu Buhari is cited as the second plaintiff. They're asking the court to compel the PDP flag bearer to pay damages for alleging that President Buhari and members of his family own substantial shares in 9 Mobile and Keystone Bank. The Buhari campaign organization claims that the suit, which has one of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's aides, Mr. Frank Shuaibu, as the first defendant, was not only false but highly libelous. They're asking for damages to the tune of 40 million naira for the embarrassment, pain and unnecessary financial loss suffered by the president. Now, more reactions continue to trail the recent comments by former President Olusegun Obasanjo on the state of the nation and alleged plans by the current administration to rig the coming general elections. The latest reaction is coming from a former governor of Lagos State and national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Bola Tinubu. Chief Tinubu said in a statement that the former president was projecting onto the APC the misconduct he would perpetrate if he was still in power. The statement says, quote, "There is no election which occurred under Obasanjo's watch or in which he participated that did not involve cheating on his part. Even the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua admitted he was the beneficiary of a flawed election engineered by none other than today's complainant." He continued saying, "Moreover, Chief Obasanjo should be the last to complain about election rigging. His administration was a miscarriage of justice and the best aspirations of the Nigerian people." Now, you can read more on Chief Bola Tinubu's reaction to the former president's comments on our website, channelstv.com. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Ibrahim Madra. Ibrahim?
Hi, Joma. Now, the European Union Election Observation Mission for the 2019 general election says it has no interest in the outcome of the elections, and its delegation is here at the request of the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure a free and fair process. The chief observer of the mission for 2019 made this known at a news conference in Abuja. Our correspondent Kela Megwa reports that a team of 51 officials has arrived for the observer mission and has been deployed in pairs to 20 different locations across the country.
Election observation is a vital European Union activity which is aimed at strengthening democratic institutions. Nigeria has had 6 missions from the European Union since 1999, and the missions give recommendations to the government after each mission. The 2007 and 2003 EU Election Observation Mission was led by Chief Observer Max Vandenberg, a member of the European Parliament. The mission in 2015 was led by Santiago Fasas, who is also a member of the European Parliament. At the time, the elections were described as highly competitive, yet marred by incidents of violence and abuse of incumbency at state and federal levels. This year, the chief observer for the EU Election Observation Mission in Nigeria is Belgian politician Maria Arena, and she outlines what their roles will be.
We have the mandate only to collect information concerning the electoral process and then to publish our findings and make recommendations. We are not interested in the outcome of the elections.
It is a high-powered delegation of 11 EU election analysts and 40 long-term observers. The chief observer says they are completely independent of any forces.
We are completely independent, I said, in our conclusions. We are independent from the EU delegations And we are independent also from EU member states and all EU institutions.
Several issues were brought to the fore, such as commitments from the election umpire to people with disabilities, claims by INEC on vote buying, and the security of the observers in the light of recent claims by the government of plans to perpetrate widespread violence in many parts of the country.
After, when it comes to vote buying, I think that we have heard some messages that you are speaking about, and we have to observe what's happening in the different places. We have these 40 people working since yesterday, and they will be there and to see what's happening in this kind of situations.
This is the 6th European Union election observer mission to Nigeria. And with each election, they make recommendations, and they say these recommendations are different every time. You can find those recommendations on their website. Now, pertinent to note at this press conference is the fact that the EU observers are saying that they have absolutely no interest in the outcome of the elections and are only here to make sure that the process is free and fair. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari says he is impressed by INEC's readiness for next month's general elections, and he is optimistic that the electoral body will deliver on its mandate of a credible poll. The president was speaking to the European Union Observer Mission to Nigeria, which paid him a visit at the State House in Abuja today. The president said he had listened earlier the day to the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, when he briefed the National Council of State, and he hopes the confidence he exuded and the intellect he brought to bear on the report will be justified at the end of the day. The president told the EU delegation that Nigeria had grown its electoral system, and it is getting better year after year. Elsewhere, the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, has described the coming presidential election as a chance for the people of the Southeast to reposition Nigeria and also return the geopolitical zone to the realm of power. Speaking at the Southeast Zone presidential campaign of the People's Democratic Party in Owerri, Imo State, the lawmaker asked the people in the region to make a political statement. The occasion was graced by the 3 state governors of the party in the region, the former Senate President Pius Anyim, and other political leaders who declared their support for the party. News at 10 will take a break now, but when we return, Central Bank asked federal government to accelerate implementation of value-added tax for improved revenue generation and reduction in expenditure. That's in business news. Do join us again.